Hey up, me ducks. It's Simon. How we doing? Good to see people in and chatting. It's been a while, hasn't it, since Throwback Thursday? I think if I look at the playlist, on my playlist anyway, I can't even see it. Oh, Throwback Thursdays. The last one was the Stretch Tarot, which was on 3 weeks ago. So yeah, I know I didn't do one last week, and last week I just experienced burnout. The week before it was because we was doing tarot times and Tarathon weekend and everything like that. So anyway, let's pop open the chat and see who we've got here, just to say hello to people. So we've got Sandra. Hi, Sandra. Stray Cat. Neris. Hello. Linda. And Adam. Hello, Adam. Good to see you. Crone's Intuition. We've got John and Mojo Buddha. We've got Hen. Hello, Hen. Up nice and early. Vintage Moon. Who else have we got? Sue and El Wasson. Naomi. Hi, Naomi. Anne. Hello, Anne. Looking for some downtown now. Yeah, I showed your pouch arrived today, Anne, and I've done a video showing some decks, and I showed it at the end, but I love this. Anne makes these, and this is for the Shadowlands Tarot, and it is just perfect. So thank you. It came really, really quick. So, and on my previous video, there's a link to Anne's shop, so do have a look. Sean, hello, Sean. Hi, Dan. Deja Blue. Oh, I like that name, Deja Blue. Some people are so clever with their names, their channel names. Lunar Eclipse, Lynn, Susan. Hello, Susan. We've got Elizabeth, Shay. Hello, Fierce, Ellie, Ikeli Sunflower, Ziffer, Essien, Laurie, Curious, Patrice, Gina, Sadana, good to see you. Jackie, hi Jackie. Debbie and Vintage, did I say you? Ultraviolet. Jen, hello Jen. And Zilpha. Annie. So many, it's great. Dave, Tammy, Laurie, Aquarius Owl, Stephanie, and I've caught up. I know Kelly calls me Shay, but I do prefer Shaya, if you don't mind. Shaya? You'll have to message me about how to pronounce it. I've only heard it from other people calling it you, so yeah, and I'd like to get your name right, so you let me know how you say it. And Moon Faye, this was my first deck. Yeah, and I think this was quite a few people. Oh, hi Donna, just seen you pop in. Good to see everybody. I think this was a first for a lot of people, actually. So if you haven't seen from the title, we're going to be talking about this little deck today. And I say little deck because it literally is like playing card size. We'll do a comparison, actually, with a playing card. A little, oh, looking at it now, it might be a little bit bigger than playing size, but roughly playing card size. This deck has been out for 35 years. It's the Hanson Roberts Tarot, illustrated by Mary Hanson Roberts. I love her kind of coloured pencil type sketches, and she is the person behind the Universal Tarot that we're now, not to get confused. Universal Tarot, and then there's the Universal Weight. It's the Universal Weight that she is the illustrator of. So I'm used to her artwork anyway. And I've got a mini version of that deck somewhere on my shelves. But yeah, so gorgeous artwork. I do remember sold my copy but kept Morgan Greer instead. Yeah, and it's interesting that you mentioned Morgan Greer, because other than being roughly around the same time, there are close-up images in this deck, which even though this is quite a nice, faithful rendition, is that the right word, I think, in terms of replicating a lot of and following closely to the RWS, there is that sort of close-up focus on it that the Mary L has as well. I'm seeing my name highlighted. Jonathan says this is one of my first decks in the 80s. I've always been curious about the deck, so happy you're doing this. And you said my name right, Shea. Okay, I'll try and remember that then. So yes, beautiful deck. This version isn't the 1985 version. This is the 2004 version. So the little white book will have the copyright date on it. So even though, as I said, it's quite a faithful rendition of the RWS, and we've got this closer up sort of imagery, what it does lack, if that's the right words to use, is because the cards are small and the images are kind of zoomed in, you do lose some of the symbology that Pixie's art has, for example. So that sometimes takes a bit of getting used to. If you're used to seeing certain things in your, I don't know, in your Two of Cups or something like that, it's very zoomed in, so you might miss some of the images and things. I got the 1985 one back in 88 or 89. Cool. That's awesome. I like it. It's got a kind of a bit of a slight medieval kind of vibe to it as well in terms of the artwork. And when I first got it, I remember being a little bit off-put by some of the facial expressions. I did think that some of them looked a bit Cabbage Patchish. And I know that often gets said about Anna Kay. But yeah, some of the faces, particularly like here at the back, they just seem a little bit unusual, but it's got a real charm to it, and I do like it. And it's a good old faithful deck, if that makes any sense. I'll show you firstly the tuck box. So nothing, you know, when I do some throwbacks, we have lovely big boxes and nice big books to explore. This, you just get a little tuck box. It is by US Games. So you can see there on the side, the US Games logo. On the side, it says Mary Hanson Roberts reinterprets Rider-Waite. I'm surprised, aren't you? Especially with it being US Games and how Stuart Kaplan is such a advocate of Pixie that they haven't put Smith there. But Mary Hanson Roberts reinterprets Rider-Waite with classic fairy tale images. The 78 vivid cards have titles in 5 languages: English, French, German, Italian and Spanish, which is the way I like this, because, you know, if you think of decks like what are they called, Los Scarabeo, they'd be quite busy with having the multiple languages in 4 corners and things. These are tucked away quite nicely in the scroll banner, so they're not intrusive at all. Do you like the Anna Kay too? I love the Anna Kay. Anna Kay is in one of my top 10 decks. I've got the Indie here, and I've got the Mass. And I have done a Throwback Thursday on Anna Kay as well. In fact, I think it was the very first Throwback Thursday that I did, almost a year ago now. Okay, so yeah, so in this little white book, it does say that this is the 2004 edition, last copyright. There's not a lot more to say about the book, the box really. It is a flimsy tuck box. It's not brilliant. It has the King of Cups on the back, and we have a version of the Fool on the front. So, and that's the side. So not a lot to say about the little white book. Keep getting messages. Let's have a look. I used this one a lot until I got the Robin Wood Tarot back in '95, I think. Cool. I'll go check out your throwbacks on Anna Kay. I'd love to. Yes. So there is a playlist on my channel, this channel, that says Throwback Thursday, and they're all in time order. And I think, if I'm right, it was the very first throwback I did. So yeah, so this is the second edition, Hanson Roberts. There is a nice little write-up. This is by Stuart Kaplan as well. He's done the Little White Book. Stuart Kaplan, of course, of US Games. And he's done the write-up for the artist, so a little bit about Mary Hanson Roberts. And then he goes straight into the card descriptions. So about half a page for each of the majors, and then probably 2 or 3 fitted onto a page for the minors. And then basically you just get at the back the 10 card spread, which is the Celtic cross spread, which is more commonly known as. But other than that, that's all you get. So nice little book, but it's only 40 something pages, 47 pages. But all in English, even though there's multiple languages on the cards. So that's it about the box and the little white book. Nothing really to swing from the trees about in excitement or anything, but you know, it's about the cards, isn't it? And as I said, these are diddy little cards. So I just want to compare it with a playing card. So we've got our playing card. I think they're a little bit narrower but taller, but they're roughly, you know, not much bigger than a playing card. A little bit narrower. And this could even be a little bit smaller than your usual playing cards anyway. Let's pop this back and out of the way. What I love about the images in the Hanson Roberts is they are quite vivid. They've got, with it being coloured pencil, they're very sketchy, but there's some nice vivid colours in there without being too garish or, you know, because with coloured pencil, they are toned down, aren't they? So they're bright and they're vivid. Lovely explosions of colours in some cards, but not OTT, and as I say, garish. I love the fact you get 2 extra cards. One is the title card, of course, the Hanson Roberts Tarot deck by Mary Hanson Roberts. But also you get this little card here that says "To all believers," and I really like that. I think that's lovely. It just says "Printed in Italy." The backs are quite nice. It's this sort of Celtic knot design, but I love the yellow and green and pink on this nice bright blue. I think it's a really nice back, and I know a lot of people like to see backs, and backs play quite an important part. Just looking to see if there's any comments before I crack on with the cards. I've got to make sure my coffee doesn't go cold this time, because Throwback Thursday, I always end up with cold coffee by the end of it. Hi, Jamie Lou. Swallowed that completely wrong. Some of my favourite backs, yeah, really nice. I do like them. And of course, reversible. So, in terms of the size, I've just done a comparison with a playing card, but in terms of with a tarot, I mean, they do measure 2.3 inches by 3.8 inches. So standard tarot, you can see how diddy they are. against a standard tarot card. Let's pop that back there. Yes, so someone's asking about a guidebook. There is a separate guidebook you can get. Somebody that's got a similar name, it's Hanson, but I think it was with either double N or double S. But the guidebook that you can buy, well, a companion book that you can buy is called the Hanson Roberts Tarot Companion. I don't know if it's still in print. I have seen it pop up on eBay and things, but I've not searched on like Amazon or anything like that. So, whilst it follows the RWS, Mary Hanson Roberts has used her own creative style as well. So she has put her own stamp on this. It's not a clone, if you like, of the of Pixie's artwork. I shall break out my deck for video readings, small enough to get cards on the screen. Yeah, and great for larger spreads, aren't they, by using smaller cards like this? Absolutely. So let's take a look at the cards then. So here is our Fool. So you see what I mean? So the Fool is a great example, actually, with having this close-up image. You can't see that there's a dog, or if there is a dog, you know. Yes, got the flower, looking upwards. Really nice. I love the shading of the green on the edge of the cliffs and the mountains in the distance and everything. But because it's kind of zoomed in, there is the absence of the dog, which has always been really part of tarot, hasn't it? Even back from some of the early decks, the Marseille decks and things. So that's what I mean about that. But again, you know, this is quite a nice deck if you're learning. I have seen reviews on it where people have been quite disrespectful and called it like a teenager's deck and things like that. I don't necessarily see that. I think it is one of those decks that is good for novices, but good for more experienced readers as well. He looks, the magician here just looks a bit out of proportion. His head just either looks like it doesn't belong to that body, or it's just, I don't know, it just looks a bit odd. But yeah, and he's got his six-pack, a magician with the six-pack. I mean, why not? But yeah, and as you can see, we do have those multiple languages, but I don't even notice them there, to be honest. They're not in your face. So that's our magician. Again, doing the whole as above, so below. He's got his tools in front of him, which are representing the suits. Here's our High Priestess, kind of like a head and shoulders shot. And here, I don't know why, every so often it does this. You get two banners. I can't understand why this bottom banner wasn't made just a little bit bigger to fit that inside, rather than take up extra room by putting two banners there. I'm really liking this deck. I need to get a copy, says Sandra. The sun is missing on the Fool. That's what I'm saying. It focuses in on kind of like the central image or the archetype, but you do miss some of the symbols of more traditional decks or the RWS deck. But I do love it as well. And you can see some of the pomegranates there, look. And the triple moon. You still get the black and white pillars behind. You still got a Taurus scroll. The Empress is gorgeous. I love the golden sky behind, the wheat. The Emperor looks really, you know, like a kind of, I can't think of the word I'm trying to say, but it's not emporial, is it? But he looks like a stereotypical type of emperor. He's got that look to him. A bit like from the old Roman films, Julius Caesar, somebody like that. Love him. That's strange with the High Priestess. Don't remember that on the... Oh, what, the pomegranates or... These are so pretty, but that magical. But that magical. Here's our Hierophant, who looks a bit like Anthony Hopkins. I don't know if it's just me, but I often do this. You know, I see faces. It's like there's a deck, the Spirit Keepers deck. And I see so many I can see Robin Williams in there, and I can see so many faces of famous people. But look at the supplicants here. It's kind of like a mirror image as well, but they're really prostrating themselves, aren't they? To our Anthony Hopkins. Typo, sorry, they are so pretty. But that magician, oh, I see. Hi, Lavender Moon. Hi, Amber, you okay? Here we have our lovers. For those just coming in, we're looking at, for this Throwback Thursday, we're looking at the Hanson Roberts Tarot. You haven't missed too much, about 20 minutes. Just been talking about my thoughts about the art style, the books, the little book and everything like that. And because the reason why I quite like them being this size as well, they are really easy to shuffle, and they're great to throw in a bag, aren't they? Lots of people like smaller decks because either you've got small hands, so this is a great one again if you're to start with a tarot and you want a little small deck to carry around with you, take places, then this is a really, really good deck to choose. This is our Chariot. So because it's focused in, we just get like half of the face of the two Sphinx. I love the balance here represented with yin and yang. It's really nice. I love the Chariot. Yeah, it's nice, isn't it? Small to handle, yeah. That's why you love the deck. I love her expression in the Strength card. I know her eyes are closed, and with a lot of images on the Hanson Roberts Tarot, the eyes really sparkle. There's so much life with a lot of the eyes, but isn't that beautiful? Look how the lion's looking up at her, and she's just kind of just really calm, really peaceful. She's got the lemniscate above her head. Again, beautiful yellow skies. I don't like it, says Adam. What, the whole deck or just certain cards? Yeah, I think it's really, really gorgeous. One of my favourites, that Strength card. I like the Hermit. Really beautiful with the blue sky, look. Little pink mountains. These little tassels. Great Hermit card. Again, we've got that sort of double nonsense there. I don't think that's needed at all. There's different ways of doing it. It's got like an Egyptian vibe, hasn't it? Wheel of Fortune. Then we have the Justice card. I love those scales. Look how ornate they are. Normally you see them holding from above, but they're really nice. The double ribbon is only on High Priestess and Wheel of Fortune, so strange. Hanged Man. That's quite pale in comparison to a lot of other cards, but it's nice. Let's have a look. He looks really calm, really at peace with his situation. Lovely. Here we have the Death card, and he's in his armour, which doesn't always jump out immediately with the RWS, does it? But again, we've zoomed right in. Can't even see the horse's head fully. I love this red sun that is set in between those two pillars in the distance. So there is a lot of the symbols. Here we see the bodies in the foreground. Only 2 cards. Temperance is beautiful. I like the fact that there's this beautiful white, that's what I imagine. You know, when I'm doing Reiki or sending Reiki, I always visualize my crown chakra opening up and this universal light using me as a tool. And that's what this card reminds me of, this sort of connection to the universe. The devil is epic. Check out this devil's face. Look at that. Look at them cowering. They look so young as well. They almost look like children. I know they're not, but it's an intense card, isn't it? And the inverted pentacle is on the forehead. Wow, might have to buy it just for the devil. Yeah, that's creepy. Love the tower because, again, the people are in proportion. I know that's a little thing that I go on about a lot, and it's quite comical. You know, if we are looking at some old Marseille decks or some decks where they draw the people that, you know, the tower is this big and the people are about the same size, it lessens the impact sometimes because I see it's quite a comical card upon viewing it in that way. Whereas a card like this, I don't know. But look at the full moon. Beautiful in terms of the colours as well, the purples and pinks. Well, relax, Amanda. You're here now amongst friends. Stress no more. Sit back, grab your cuppa and just listen to me waffle on for the next half an hour. Star. I love that she's not emptying the vessels. She's just the water's just flowing from the palm of her hands. And I think it's beautiful. Look how they portrayed that star as well. Really gorgeous. A little bird. The moon. Look at the moon. Isn't that lovely? Look at the colours as well, the purples and pinks. The crayfish is covered, the majority of it, by the banner. You can just see the tail at the bottom and then the pincers here. But it is a gorgeous card. Creepy baby alert and double creepy baby alert because we get very Teletubby-ish kind of baby in the sun as well. As well as the creepy baby on the horse. I know a lot of people don't like naked creepy baby in the sun card. I never really gave it a thought, you know, until people started to mention it all the time. But doesn't that sun remind you a bit of Teletubbies? Ah, Stray Cat's like, no, I might have wanted to buy it for the devil card, but the sun card has kind of counterbalanced that now. Cabbage Patch doll. Yeah. Yes, Amber. Here's Judgment. I love the red there. It's just really vibrant with the contrast to the soft pastel pinks, blues, yellows. Really stands out, doesn't it? of that banner. What I also love is there's no fear here. You know, you often see the judgment card and people being called up for the graves, or, you know, kind of fearing the judgment. But there's little hands reaching out here. And these are reaching up, you know, fully ready to face. The creepiest babies is the Six of Cups. And Jonathan, you're acting like I've never seen this deck. I've had this about, well, not as long as you, since the 80s, but I've had it a few years. There's the World. Okay, so that's the majors. I'm not sure. Would love to see this deck trimmed. I've yet to trim or edge any of my cards. I don't want to ruin them. It's always a risk. I wouldn't trim one until I bought a guillotine. I don't think I would trim this deck, although it would remove the little copyright. The copyright, because the cards are small, isn't that intrusive, but you do see it. But it would make the cards even smaller, and these are probably as small as I'd want to go. Because this isn't like the mini version or anything like that. This is just the version. I love your cup. Did you make it? Oh, Amber, you credit me with too much talent. No, I bought this from Glastonbury. I love it too. So we've got our cups. There's our Ace of Cups. You inspired me to pull out my copy, and I'm flipping through to just, it's not in order. Oh, I see. Good point about making them smaller. Yeah. But some people don't mind even smaller, and these are probably just a little bit bigger than a tinned deck. I need to check what I'm saying, actually. Let's just pause for a second. This is the Centennial in a tin. So Adam, if you're still here, this is your deck that you've got, but in a tin. So it's a mini version. That's the size of the tin. And yeah, they're almost not much in it in terms of just a little bit bigger and a little bit wider than a tin size. So that's quite interesting that they're that small. The RWS in your 3-card spread in the background is really beautiful. Don't know what it is, but looks awesome in that card order. That's the CS Tarot, the second edition of the CS Tarot. So here's our Two of Cups. I love the Two of Cups. Hi, Becca. Good to see you. We're looking at the Hanson Roberts Tarot. Here's our Three of Cups. Our community card, the one we often refer to. But look how vibrant. For coloured pencils, that's really vibrant in colours, isn't it? The Four. So somebody said at the beginning that they had this and gave it away in preference of Morgan Greer. What's everybody's thoughts? Because I do see a similarity in as much as, you know, the kind of zoomed in close up perspectives, which the Morgan Greer is. But I mean, Morgan Greer is a bit of a classic, isn't it? I can't see many topping it, but I do love the softer tones of the art here with the coloured pencil. I think this is beautiful. So much expression there, isn't there? And I know even in like Pixie's art, you don't see the facial expression for the Five of Cups. You just see a figure that's... I did a showdown with these two decks. This is the Morgan Greer. Do I remember that? I can't remember if I remember it or not. I remember a Morgan Greer. I didn't realise it was this one. I have neither, but have the Connolly. I've got the Connolly. And the drawing must have been inspiration from the Hanson. Yeah, I've got the Connolly Tarot. This is what I mean about some of the children's faces that are a little bit Cabbage Patch-ish. But I still like the card. Here's our 6, the card of nostalgia. Seven of Cups. Cabbage Patch Kids. 8. Love the face in the moon there as well. Yeah, Tammy Pye says, I think this one and the Connolly are very similar. I'll not pull the Connolly out for a throwback then anytime soon. But again, you know, this very close-up look of the 9 of Cups. And no matter how many versions of this 9 of Cups you see from around this time, the guy seems to have the same face in all of them. You know, that ruddy complexion, that round face. I was actually afraid of them when I was a kid. You couldn't get them. Couldn't get them round our way. Beautiful 10 of Cups. Really lovely. Here's the page. Looks a little bit startled. Bit caught off guard with that little extra surprise in his cup. Our knight. No water to cross. Queen. She's peering in, almost like she's going to divine in the water, to scry or something. And this is our king that's on the back of the box. The King of Cups. Oops. And then we move on to our swords. I love that. Look at the rays coming down between the clouds. Really beautiful. I see that a lot. Living up here, so high. I love it when there's been a bit of a cloudy day, but there's that break in the clouds and you get these sun rays coming down. Really lovely. Two of Swords is beautiful. In that sort of classic RWS position. You don't see a ship in the background or anything. Three of Swords. I like the 4. It's taken from a completely different perspective. Got the 3 hanging down between the windows, but we're looking from a different angle completely. There's the 4th on the tomb. He's roly-poly too. Five. The interest in here with the 6 is that, as far as we can see from the card, he's alone in the boat. Now, normally the person who's kind of using the oar to move the boat away from the rougher waters to the calmer shores, you know, normally has, like, I think a woman and a child, isn't it, in there? There's 3 people usually being transported across. Yes, they did, Becca. Fist fights. Tearing each other's hair out. I love her position in the 8. The 9. we refer to as the Nightmare card. And the 10. I love the sky. Look at the sky, how dramatic. And the bare branches. It's such a bleak image, isn't it? And I can never work out what they are. They look like, it's like two little red, like little cherries. I'm not quite sure what they are. They're on string. Oh, it's beads. It's a necklace that's broken. The little detail. Not sure if you'll see it, but around the hairline here, can you see? There are beads and it's broken. The little details. I've often looked at them and thought, what are those two little round things? Cherries. You're talking about Cabbage Patch dolls now. Here's our Page of Swords. And this is such an action shot. Now, if you think of the Knight of Swords anyway, but look, from the front on perspective, I really like that. Beautiful Queen. And I love the two of these together because they face each other, which I think is just gorgeous. I wanted a glowworm. I had a glowworm. I did get a glowworm. And a Jacko. Did anybody have a Jacko? Chad Valley. I keep trying to get one off eBay. Why? I'm nearly a 50-year-old man and I'm trying to buy toys from my childhood. I think you get to a certain point in your life, don't you? And you get quite nostalgic. It's our 6 of Cups time of life. Now, we don't have wands, we have rods. So our Ace of Rods, which is beautiful, coming into bloom. I bought myself a glowworm finger puppet last year, as you do. I'm not alone then in wanting toys. I love that. I love the Two of Wands anyway. That sort of standing there on the shore looking out. Oh, it's what I do when I get to anywhere near water, just to look out. But I love the huge setting sun and that sort of burnt amber sky, but just standing there looking out. And when you think of the message behind the Two of Wands, you know. He hasn't got the world in his hands though, has it? Oh yes, he has. He's holding it out towards us rather than in front of him, looking at it. It's almost offering it, isn't he? Now you're on about wombles. Beautiful Four of Rods. Gorgeous celebration or ceremony about to take place. Stunning. I love the little bridge across the water. Look at that bridge. I mean, it would be a bugger to climb up, wouldn't it? But beautiful. Hi, Shane. Time snuck away from me. I don't know. Six. On the high horse. When was the last I eat you? When was the last I eat you? Use this deck to do a reading. I love you, Dar. You know I only pull your leg. Beautiful. Look at the 8 of Rods here. Again, different position, but look at them. Aren't they gorgeous? 9. And then we get the heavy burden of the 10. It's interesting that he's an older gentleman coming towards, but he looks almost like he's a part of the royal court, because this is a palace here, look, that he's heading towards. But with his garb, he looks quite like he's part of. There's the page, call it out. The knight. And I think the rods in this deck are just gorgeous. And look at this cat. I mean, it's huge. But isn't it beautiful? And this is our cover, which I thought actually was like a full card, because he's holding the flower and he's got the rod. And the king. The page look like children, and I like that, stray cat, because, you know, when we think of the page, it is somebody who's in spirit quite youthful and, you know, inexperienced a bit. And yeah, we often, and if you read things like the WTF is tarot, you know, when they talk about a family unit, the page is usually that younger person within the family. I think the colours in the Pentacles are beautiful. And I'm not a huge pink person, but I just think the colour and shading is really lovely. I had to look twice at what was happening there. I love this ship being tossed about, look, on the water. We have one Weeble in the house right now. We know about Weebles wobble, but they don't fall down. Oh, Watson says, Simon, love the colours in the deck. Might have to get it. Simon made me do it. It is a lovely deck. And the card stock, I didn't mention the card stock, is it? Did I? Is it? Didn't mention the card stock, is it? It has like a plasticky feel. It's quite nice. It does remind me of playing cards, and maybe that's because of the size as well. Oh, you're coming now as well, are you, Elle? I don't know, come in right at the end, you and Shane. 4 of Pentacles. Keeping both feet firmly on them. Love this version of the 5. I love the details, like the little different type of snowflakes. They're like the snowflakes you used to cut out at school when you was a kid and make different patterns with them by folding the paper. Again, I love the close-up images. You get to see the faces, not a side profile. We've got this glow from the window, but it's really, really nice. It's really nice, even though it's a card of hardship. And 6 of Pentacles. Seven is gorgeous. I'm not quite sure why everybody's putting we have a Weeble in the house right now. I've read that a couple of times now and I'm not quite sure why. Here's our 9 of Pentacles, which is beautiful. I mean, look at that. Really lovely and colourful. And the 10 is from the completely opposite. You know, they're facing forward. Children, family pet, the old man and the couple. Look at the buildings. There's so many, you know, it is like it's said into like a fairy tale deck, and to me it's got, like I said, a slight medieval flavour to it, but the palaces and things in the background really add to that. Hi Lou, good to see you. My sister still has her old glowworm. It's probably, mine is still probably in my parents' attic. Don't know if it still glows after all these years, but you never know. The page. I like the fact that we've got female pages. The knight, very sort of Viking-esque here. The queen is beautiful with her little rabbit. And finally, the king with his castle in the background. Sure. You think that looks like Cher? I love putting the king and queens together in this deck. They really complement each other well. So yeah, so even though some of the children look a little bit cherub-like or a little bit cabbage patchish, and it's often viewed as quite cutesy, and as I said, I've seen reviews saying it's very much kind of a teenage deck. I don't find that. I think the colour palette, the soft tones, the beautiful, you know, pencil crayon sketches is just lovely. I also like the fact that it's dinky in size. You know, it is very easy to shuffle. And like I said, it's great to throw in a bag. That king reminds me of Tom Selleck because of the moustache. Again, you know, if you think of Magnum PI, mid-80s, wasn't it? And this deck is right from then, 1985. So, yeah, it's 35 years old. But yeah, it's lovely. I really like it. There is a version as well that came out in a tarot kit. The lot smaller. I think that might have been borderless and the paper was more matte, but the cardstock wasn't very good at all. But what was nice, it had a little hardback book that you got with it. And you know, like the ones that are out now, I'm not going to be able to put my hand on them instantly, but you know the little ones that you get next to tills in bookshops on the carousels. It was called Illustrated, isn't it? And it's pink, it's purple and gold. It was like one of those in a little set. I've seen them about, which is of this deck as well. So, all right. So we're about ready to wrap up. Thank you for being with me for the last hour. Now the vote. I should have said this at the beginning, but because it's been so long since I did it, I say so long, 3 weeks, I normally do them weekly. I took down the vote at the beginning of this week. For over a week, this and the Circo Tarot were both exactly on 50%. Now, this went up against the Stretch Tarot, and the Stretch Tarot won. So I thought it was only fair, with them both getting exactly 50%, that they should both get a go, a look in. So there won't be a vote next week because I'm going to show the Circo Tarot because that got 50% of the vote with this. You're welcome, Amber. Thank you for being here. And thank you, Shea. Have I said it right? I'm going to be so paranoid now about saying your name wrong. They still sell the kit. Oh, do they? Wow. I've never seen it in a shop, but I've seen it, you know, people show it and things online. Sellecker's Magnum PI, Bertie Smoky. Yeah, I think someone said Magnum PI, didn't they? Or Tom Selleck. But anyway, I love the Stretch Tarot, and yes, you got my name. Yeah, sorry to create bother. No, you're not creating bother. There's nothing worse than people saying your name wrong. So, all right, guys. Well, thank you for being here. As I said, Saturday, I will be back for catching up with, and it's with Will from Atypical Tarot, which I'm really excited that we've been able to find the time to, it's been away this week, so we found the time to get an interview scheduled. If you haven't subscribed yet, then have a look for his channel, Atypical Tarot. But I'll get to interview him on Saturday at 4 p.m. here in the Hermit's Cave. So hopefully I'll get to see you all then, if you can make it. But yeah, enjoy the rest of your evening. And as always, go in peace. Namaste and blessed be.